Last night, I hit the rotation above the main bands. So I hit it once here and once here. So that one didn't really make much. As soon as it rotated back up, I blipped out. That one actually had a very extended move. We've held support pre-market, and then we had a W pattern and lift. And I can't tell you how amazing it is if you just go take the time and watch some of my training videos on W patterns and M patterns. They're all over the place. And when you're using symmetrical Renko, here's a W pattern, like two sequential ones back to back after coming back inside the bands, W pattern outside the bands coming back in. Lower pivot high M patterns, higher pivot low W patterns, M pattern follow through trades. Just they're all over the place. Here's a triple M pattern down after touching the outside of the bands. You can just see them, and they're such powerful setups. And I have specific training on M and W patterns and everything I do. Okay, so let's go take a quick look at another chart. So last night, here was that where the market peaked its head above prior pivot highs from the later part of the day. Or basically the gap up, I guess you could say, the Sunday reopen gap up. And we peaked our head above that. And I hit that hard because we were outside of the bands and we rotated. So let's just take a quick look at this chart real quick. So we're outside of the bands, and it was in conjunction with this setup. I was telling the pivot point beta group that I'm going to do a specific. I did a video over the weekend called the diamond dot setups for longs and diamond dot setup for shorts. And I had a diamond dot set up into that trade, and that thing I hit this one right away. We kind of peaked our head above that pivot. I got a diamond dot, I hit it. Didn't really get much. As soon as I got a diamond, it lifted. I blipped out of that. Didn't really make anything. Didn't lose anything. Waited. Then when we peaked our head above that level in the overnight session, I got a nice diamond dot, and we were outside of the bands at the time, which I've shown. Then this morning, I did one little long, so I'm way over daily goal. This account I'll trade automated out of the open, but we had a really nice little support was built. We peaked our head just below it. I didn't buy that. But then when we had a W pattern with a diamond dot off that low pivot, diamond dot off that low pivot, and it ran a bit, and then I just got out, and it put me over 1,500. I did about 1,000 on this one, or 1,000 and change this one. I was playing a little bit more size, and I'm basically done in that account for the day. So we're back up to this pivot coming into the session today. Let me go to a different chart real quick. So the mom signal chart coming into today, we got some pivots right there. See where we touched it right there? Very likely we'll come up and at least tag that area if we get a little bit of push early. And then above that, this was created during the U.S. cash session, this area of selling. So that means it's prominent. I'll pay attention to that. And then we have a little bit of a gap before we get to the next areas that could be prominent that were formed during U.S. cash session hours. And why is that important? We have a hit here, an ascending, they worked it right up here, and then it fell over and we got some pivots higher. So these are kind of some of the key pivots to the upside. And the key about the U.S. cash session and why these pivots are important during the U.S. cash session hours, the U.S. cash session hours where support and resistance areas are created are where the most liquidity was taking place. So some sort of level created during U.S. cash session hours on a U.S. indice means way more to me than a level created at, 9:32 at night, U.S. Central Time when the Asian markets are trading. Now, I still pay attention to a key level, something prominent, during, those times of day. It's just there's more volume traded. So the levels have, instead of being like a quarter-inch piece of plywood, it's more like, like a 2-inch thick piece of concrete. The levels created during day session hours are prominent. And I talk about this in the specific training that we have in the Algo IQ group, where I show you how to chart key levels in a really simple video, exactly the way I used to see it inside of an institutional firm. And I show you why and how to track M&W patterns. I cover that in depth. And with the pivot point beta group and using symmetrical candles, wow, can you see M&W patterns? So anyhow, some key levels above. We have a little bit of support here from overnight session, some support from end of day kind of time period Friday, and some level from earlier in the day. Matter of fact, I'll just I'm just going to mark those real quick just so I kind of know where my edges of the market are, ballpark anyhow, going into the day today. So we'll mark that and one more and we'll call it good. And then I kind of know where the market will be in relation to recent key pivots as we get into Monday's trade day. So remember, we have U.S. holidays into the end of the week, Thanksgiving. So Thursday, no trading. Friday, I'm not going to be doing any trading at all during U.S. cash session period during the holiday hours. So I'll be basically trading, Monday, Tuesday, I'll hit it hard. And then, whatever action we have in the overnight sessions, the EU markets are trading. If we hit any key levels and I see setups, I'll work them light. But I'll probably just work on getting the predominance of my trading done this week. Monday through Wednesday-ish, and then call it good and only hit stuff in the overnight session, like when EU markets are trading, if, we have some key prominent levels that are getting hit, and so on. So there you have it. If you have any questions, let me go back, show you the email. info@gridalgo.com. Major info and videos out today on pivot point trading. You're not going to want to miss it. Got some major info on that and some additional setups I want to show you. And looking forward to translating the data and the best Renko, symmetrical Renko timeframes over to the work we're doing with updating the automated strategy on the Algo IQ side, so we can trade AIQ 1 indicator scalp dots trades in conjunction with the automated strategy, so you can work those manual or automated. That way, the benefits of the information I'm gathering on the pivot point trading can then be translated over to also benefit the Algo IQ system and ongoing updates. So there you have it. Have a fantastic trade morning. And info@gridalgo.com for any questions.